Hello and welcome to Courageous Self-Confidence, a podcast committed to inspiring you and increasing your self-esteem. We hope that this podcast encourages you to reflect and really dig into who you truly are so that you can have a greater capacity to live out your destiny. Cool, huh? This is Samuel Hatton.
And Weston Picorni.
We are meeting in his garage, and we've been meeting together for a little bit over 2 years, every single Friday morning.
Not in the garage.
No, we usually meet at Starbucks or in one of our houses, and we've just been encouraging one another and keeping each other accountable in living a life that's worth living. And we just thought that we would take the conversations that we usually have and just bring it into a podcast. So that's one big reason why we're recording. So who are we? Weston is a connector. He's one of those guys that you want to know because he'll connect you with all kinds of people. And he's a freelance business technology consultant. He's the guy that people call when they need like major projects done because he's super organized. You know, I call him a master organizer, people connector, and he's full of courageous compassion.
Thank you. Oh, that's nice.
Family man too.
Samuel, you mentioned that we're two peas in a pod, and you are the closest person that I've ever met that is like me. You're just full of mental energy and full of enthusiasm, and you are a go-getter. Samuel is nuts about self-discipline and making the most out of his time so that he gets great results for others and himself. He just wants to accomplish what he sees in his mind. And for most of us, that is the greatest challenge in life, is taking something that you see, that you feel, that you believe, and translating that into an actual product, service, or result. And that's who Samuel is. He's driven.
Wow. Really appreciate that. That's way more than I thought you were gonna say about me. But yeah, you know, and this I believe that this podcast is a result of some of that. I give feedback to people and encouragement and advice, and people come to me and ask me about various things, and for a long time I've been wanting to put it into something, you know, and I write about some of the things that I find myself saying over and over again. But hey, why not start a radio show and get some more stuff going, right? So what can you expect from this podcast? This podcast is going to be a 10 to 15 minute podcast. We're never going to go over 15 minutes unless it's a bonus episode. And we're looking at releasing one episode every other day of the business week. So 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, you know, we want to inspire you and encourage you in living out your day. We know a lot of you are commuting. Some of you aren't. It's all good. Everyone's happy, right? So why are we doing this podcast? Do you have any reasons, Weston?
Because really it comes down to change has its enemies, and there are enemies within, and that takes courage to accomplish what you see that must be accomplished.
Right. Weston, can I ask you a really hard question?
Okay.
It might stump you. I don't know.
All right.
How qualified do you feel to be a co-host on this podcast?
Not qualified.
Okay. Weston and I were talking about this earlier, and here's the thing. Who am I to do a podcast? Who is Weston to do a podcast? Neither of us are really experts in this field. However, we want to bring on experts, and we want to, you know, just really dive into this, because the truth is that both Weston and I are in dire need of courageous self-confidence. And we figure, you know what, if you want something and if you're afraid of something, why not just go for it? Why not just do it? And podcasting about a topic that both of us are a little bit uncomfortable with is exactly what we decided to do.
It's something we're seeking for ourselves and hope to serve others with.
Right. So if we're going to be doing a comprehensive study on self-confidence and a comprehensive study on what courage means and stuff, why not share our results with you? So we're hoping to curate a lot of knowledge and stories about courage. And a fun thing we're going to do on one day out of the week is called Gentleman's Brawl. And what does it mean to be a gentleman, and how do we challenge the status quo through that? You know, because I think that a lot of people are just like, gentlemen? Why would you want to be a gentleman? That's so old. But there's a lot of legacy and heritage and goodness in it.
So you're talking about being assertive, but being gentlemanly?
Yeah, man. So we're just going to talk about that. You know, it's going to be good. And what's the purpose of this podcast? The purpose of this podcast is not just for us, it's for you. We want to share what we're doing with the world. And we want to be able to go back and listen to episodes and learn from them, you know? Yeah, that's about it. That's what we have for you today. And in 2 days, on Wednesday, we're going to be covering, we're going to be really diving into what self-confidence means to us and how we hope to instill self-confidence into you. And it's not anything that we can really do. We can only maybe inspire or get some thoughts triggering and stuff, but it really comes from deep within your being. Self-confidence does. So that's about it. You can head over to couragehub.com/review. We'll give you a page that will show you how you can leave a review for this podcast. And I do suggest listening to at least another episode before you do that, so you can kind of like get an idea. But if you're like, no, I know exactly what I want to say, and you want to go ahead and leave a review, we'd greatly appreciate that. That's how this show is going to get found. So,
thank you.
This is Samuel Hatton
and Weston Pokorny
signing out. Next time, Weston and I will be discussing our beliefs about what self-esteem actually means.